Welcome back, everybody. This is going to be a part 3 of the server setup and what's actually going on in the background. So I thought I'd do a kind of what I learned so far with doing this. So kind of bringing you along on the journey just a little bit further now. And basically in this video, what I want to go over are like installing mods, looking at the web console and how that works and things like that as far as LowMS. Now, I think that most of this you'll be able to do on a server on another platform, like one of the other ones that I discussed in the first video here. So like if you buy your server from somebody else, a lot of this stuff could probably carry over. Well, actually, I know a lot of the stuff can, because like the configuration file, like you just have to search where that configuration file is, and then you edit it in much the same way. So I wanted to go over configuration files as well. So that's the two main things, like the mods, installing mods in the server for the server or client, and then actually going over the configuration files, which kind of ties in because part of the configuration files is installing mods. So let's just jump right into that real quick. Actually, you know what I wanted to do? First, I'm going to show you like the web console here and show you kind of what's going on with that. Now, again, this is on LowMS, but you probably have to search for this on yours, but it's right up here on the front page. It's like when I log in, this is what I see. So it's just going to be on the web console here. Now, this web console is going to give you a lot of just gobbledygook here that really is not going to be useful information for you. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here, like if something goes wrong, you can actually see what's going on with the server and things like that. But this command line here is a lot like the in-game chat. So a lot of the commands here are going to be the same kind of commands that you can use to chat. So I can actually chat. Well, one of the commands actually is the players command. So at this moment you can do the same exact thing in chat. So if you make this command /players, you can see who's on the server. Right now there's nobody on the server. but this would give you a list of people on the server. Now this would act the same way as in chat. So the difference between chat and this is that in here, in the back end, I'm an admin, so I can do admin things. So I can actually add, and I forget the exact command, like, and I can add other people to admin, which I do have one other admin that I did add, and I hope that worked. But the command, I think, is like admin A for add, and then the player name. So if I wanted to add myself, if I can type, I would do something like that. Actually, if I do admin, and I think help, I can get the help on admin. Yeah, here we go. So any command, like the players command, I think you can do, actually you can chain these like that. Actually, that didn't work. But anyways, like some of these commands, like the admin one, you can chain. If it does have a help menu, you can chain admin help, and then it'll give you specific help for that command, like this one does here. So basically, let me see here. So it would be add min, and then yeah, I think I was right. So -a. And I think A, and then the player. So yeah, so that's the exact thing. So I can add myself as, add administrator. I can add that to the administrator. Now, since I'm already administrator, it didn't add anybody to it. So you can see it's kind of like the closed bracket here with the 0. So that's the count. And then in here, if I successfully added somebody to the admin, it would have the name right in here. There's that. And I can also do things like, and this is a little bit of a cheat, but give, let me see if this one has a help actually. Yeah, so here we go. So give P, right, so P player, so give -P, and if I wanted to give myself, and some resources, I guess. No, give myself some credits. So I can do that, and then let me see here. Like if I wanted to give myself 1,000 iron, I think that'll work. So yeah, so that would work if I was online. So it would say like Danny Code is online. Actually, let me go ahead and switch over to Avorion and then put myself online, and then we'll redo this. So just give me 1 second here. I'll do a little jump cut. Okay, so what I did is, since I can't share my screen with Avorion and do this at the same time, I logged in and I gave myself the credits, and or I gave myself some resources or credits or whatever, and then I logged out. And you can kind of see here too. So when I logged in, it says it logs me in, and this is how you see somebody logged in. So you'll see like Steam authentication successful for, and that would be my Steam ID. I'm probably going to mask that out, but yeah. So then server Danny Code Play joins the Galaxy, and then you can see I had the wrong command, so I didn't really need the -P, but as you can see, I gave a few attempts here, and then my last attempt here was. So it's / give the player, whoever the player is, 1,000 iron, and admin gave Danny Code 1,000 iron, and then as you can see, I logged out. So I logged in, I did that, and then I logged out. So you can do certain things like that. So this is only in the back, but again, a lot of the same commands. If you do help, you'll get a list of all the commands that you can do. So you can actually, I think, yeah, so you can whisper. I know you can whisper to players. So that is the command line, so the console. So this is how you work that. So that's pretty cool. And a lot of that is going to be like just when you're in the back end here, it's going to be your web console. So there's also a command line manager. And what this is this gives you, so this is the run command for when Avorion starts up. Now this only, I'm pretty sure this only gets run when you start and stop the server. So if I have to restart the server, so that command line would get run. So there is that. Now let me go over to, let's see here. I'm pretty sure the Steam update, and I haven't really investigated this yet, so I think the Steam update, so when Avorion does update, I think I just run this, and then it runs the update for the server. So if there's an updated version, we can run the beta branch. I'm not going to do that. So right now we're just running the live branch. And there's a knowledge base. It's not very knowledgeable, I have to say, so there's not a lot on here. So just a couple articles here. Not a lot there. Now File Manager, self-explanatory there. This is just like your file manager on your computer. So basically if you have Avorion installed on your computer and you have a game running, you'll see a lot of the same folders and whatnot. But this is where Galaxy. So this would be where, so Galaxy One pretty much shares, or is pretty much all the information for our Galaxy. So Galaxy One is, I think, the default Galaxy. Anyways, but that's the file manager. So pretty self-explanatory there. And let's see what else I wanted to go into here. Current activity status. It's kind of lame on this. I would like it to be a little bit better. So it just gives you server variables and what's going on there. There's also gameplay history. Like today, it'll show you like I was on for a little while here. So there was only one player. It was probably just me so far today. But yesterday doesn't show that there's anybody on yesterday, really, because I was on yesterday. Anyways, so last 7 days, so it'll show you that. Oh, maybe I wasn't on yesterday. That's right. I don't think anybody was on yesterday. That's funny. I took a little bit of a break. I'm usually on pretty much every day, but took a little bit of a break. But then, the last 30 days, so it'll give you like peak hours and things like that. I think this is in Greenwich Mean Time. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly when these hours are. So I know, like right here is my morning, late morning for me. So, and as you can see, like today, I was on just like here, and right now it is, what time is it? Right now it's 1 o'clock here, so 1 p.m. So yeah, so that would be 1 p.m. here. So anyways, there's that. I wish it was a little bit better. So I think it's very kind of weak on this server. All right, so let's just go over to the configuration files. And this is where you configure things for the server, like mods and also password. Like this is where I put my password protection. And this is the mods, and this is the server configuration. Now the server configuration, I'm just going to do in a text editor here. But usually I like to try to copy this and then paste it into a local text editor like Notepad++ or something like that, and then change things around and then paste it back in here. But this is a place where you'll select set the difficulty, you can set the seed, you can change the seed, you can change things like collision damage and things like that. There's the password protection here down here. So here's the password. I'm probably gonna blank that out a little bit, but this is where the password is set up. Also, when you go into the server, or when you see the server on the server list in Vorian in game, this is where that comment goes in. So I kind of changed this to I changed it to the link to my channel, which I thought was pretty cool. So you can change things like that, and this is the actual name of the server. So there's that. You have max players. I don't think I can change. If I change that, I don't think anything is going to happen here because this account is only 8 max players. So I don't think that's going to change anything. But this is where a lot of gameplay options are going to be held. So if you're thinking of changing something, this is where it is, or this is where it probably is. So what else in here is interesting? So starting sector, same starting sector is, I think that defaults to true when you set up the server, so everybody starts in the same sector. I changed that to false. And so here is, let's go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and change this. So like the player inventory and alliance inventory, I changed already the player inventory to 2,000 slots. It defaults to 1,000. So I changed it to 2,000. And I'm going to do the same for the alliance because I just, that's one of my pet peeves is that 1,000 is just a little bit too small. So I'm going to show you exactly what you have to do. Now, if you change something in here and the server is running and you save it, nothing's going to happen. If you change something in here and the server is running and you save it and restart the server, nothing's going to happen. So what I have to do is, I found this out the hard way, is I have to go and stop the server. Nobody's on here right now, so that's a good thing. So I stopped the server, and by the way, this is where you stop and restart and do all that good stuff here. And it only takes a few seconds for this one, so which is great. I was afraid that like the 4net players or the Tree Cafe 2 server, I know when that one restarts, that takes like up to an hour, they were saying. So this one is just a couple minutes. I don't know if that is because there's a lot of players on there and there's a lot of information. I have a feeling that's probably part of it. But anyways, so you have to, if you're going to change anything into configuration files, and this goes for the mods as well, if you're going to change anything, you have to stop the server, go into the configuration file, edit it. And let me just search for, what was I searching for? So there we go. So alliance inventory, let me just close that. Now I know where it is. So if I wanted to change this to 2,000, right, I do that. Then I save it, and then I go back over, and then I start the server. Again, you have to save it when the server is off. I found that out the hard way. I'm not really sure if that's consistent with all people that have Vorian servers, like LowMS here. Maybe that's just the way that these servers do it on LowMS, but I'm pretty sure it's a safe bet that you can it's probably going to be the same across the board. I'm not too sure. Anyway, so that's now restarted. So now when everybody goes in, and if they have an alliance, they'll have now 2,000 slots instead of just 1,000 slots. Excuse me, instead of just 1,000 slots. All right, so now the last thing I wanted to show you here is probably one of the more important things, and I think I'm gonna. I really, because I was talking about in the live stream on Monday, as someone asked me how I felt about mods, and I said I really don't want to put mods on there, because the fact that I think this is true, that if you play with mods, that you don't get the achievements, like the Steam achievements and badges and things like that. So I'd like to run a clean server, so basically no mods. But for the sample, for this video, I wanted to just kind of go over how to put them in, because I actually did find out how to do that. Now, again, like the server INI here, the mod file, you can just bring up in the text editor, and here we go. So now there's two types of mods. There's server-side mods and client-side mods. Now, server-side mods, and I installed this one earlier just to make sure it was working. This is the extra resource mod for the server-side mod. So this is where you would put the server-side mod, and it defaults to, let me see here, it defaults to, let me just go into the, file manager. I forget exactly where it defaults to, but it should be in the galaxies, and in whatever galaxy you're in, and then in workshop. So this is where the mods by default. So this is, I think this one's it here. Maybe. Yeah, there's nothing in downloads. So this may be the mod here. I think that may be it. I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, so basically what you have to do with the mods is that you have to know what the mod ID is, and I'll show you how to find that. It's pretty easy, not too self-explanatory if you're in like the Steam Workshop and you're in the app, but if you're browsing Steam Workshop on, say, like Chrome or Firefox or something like that, it'll actually be in the URL, and I'll show you where that is. So, but anyways, this is where the server side mods will live, and this is where the client side mods will live. Now this is, and I don't know, maybe it's not compatible right now, but this mod is it's actually one mod, but the one mod relies on the other mod to work. So you have to have both mods, but this is the quality of life map mod, which I really couldn't get working. It's working, but it's not working. It's really hard to explain. But this is where you would put the client-side mods. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go find a mod to put in here. Oh, and another thing about the client-side mods, the client, so the player would have to actually have that mod installed locally for it to work. So that's just one other thing. So it would be, so this is just the allowed, right? So this is just saying these ones are the allowed ones on the client side, which is a very specific thing where it's not installed, but these are the ones that are allowed. So this is just kind of like a whitelist for client-side mods. So these are the ones you're allowed to play on the server with. Anyways, and these mods here, the client side, now this will install a mod on the actual server. So these are the more important ones, I think. So I'm just going to go over these, and I'll show you how to install one of those. So let's go over and find one. So this one is probably the one I'm going to do. This is the one I have on there now, is the Avorion More Starting Resources, and this one is related to that. So what I'm going to do is, right now, this one I have on here, and what I'm going to do is, since this is the one that I want to install, here is the ID. So let me go ahead and let's just paste one back in, delete that ID, And make sure, like, if you have more than one, or if you have one, make sure you have that comma back there. It's very important. Okay, so let's just copy this ID and paste it in here. Now, as I said, before I save this, I'm going to stop the server, and then it takes just a few seconds. There we go. And then I want to make sure that, again, make sure that's the right one. I'm paranoid. I don't think it was the right one. So this is the more starting resources light. Yeah, so that's the one. So server is stopped. I'm going to save this. And then let's make sure that that's saved right. Yes, that's correct. Go ahead and save it again. Won't hurt. And then start the server again. And wait for that to start up, and then we're going to go into, there we go, and then we're going to go into, I'm going to do a little jump cut here, and we're going to go into Avorion, and I'll show you what happens when you start up with a new mod to be installed. Okay, so I ran into a little bit of trouble with that resource mod. Now, for some reason, when I restarted the server and I went into Avorion, it wasn't showing up on the list. I took out that mod from the, so I took it out here. I actually took out the other mods as well. But this is definitely, and then I put it back in, just like you saw there. And it definitely, when I took it out, I can see it on the list again, but when I put it back in, it just disappeared from the server list when I was in Avorion in-game. So we have the server stopped. So I'm looking for another mod to put in here. And let's go ahead and, okay, so maybe that mod is just not working right. So here's another more resource mod. So we're gonna try this one. Now I hesitate doing this, but let me, instead of double clicking, let me copy it just by clicking and dragging it to make sure I don't get any extra characters here, because maybe that was the situation. So there's that, and let's go ahead and just paste that in there. Okay, so let's go ahead, and the server is off. So let's go ahead and save that. Restart the server. Okay, so there we go. So I restarted the server as well. I don't know what was going on there. There was some fishiness with that, but it looks like the server is now up and running. So let's go ahead. I'm going to jump in back into Avorion, and let's see if we can't find our server on the list now. All right, let's see what we got here. So multiplayer, browse servers, history. So there we go. Okay, so that mod seems to be working okay. By the way, if you guys want to find, I just want to say this again, if you guys want to join the server, it's password protected. So just go ahead and email me at dannycodeplays@gmail.com. That's the official channel email, and I will send you the password. And I'm thinking about just taking that password off, but right now I have the password on there because I only have 8 seats on the server, so I wanted to kind of limit it a little bit, but I think I may be upgrading this pretty soon up until a lot more players, maybe even, I don't know how many, maybe up to 20 or something like that. So yeah, so that's why that's there. And also, if you go ahead and send me that, or send me the email and I give you the password, the way to find it is just go here to the internet tab and then do change filters, and then just put in Danny here, and that will bring up the server there. By the way, and I showed you this in the configuration file, but here is where, so this is the name of the server, and this is where the description goes. So that's pretty cool. I wish these were linkable. Maybe, I wonder if I can put a, probably not, but I wonder if I could put like an anchor text link in there, like a HTML anchor in there, but that would be kind of cool. So people can just link to that, but I'm sure there's weirdness there. But anyways, so that's how you find it. You just do change filters and then do a search for Danny, and it's probably the only one here. So anyways, let's go ahead and kill this filter. Okay, So, right. So now the new mod is in that mod file. We just put it in there, and this is the first time we're starting it up. So when we go and join the server, and of course put in the password, it'll ask you to download that mod. So the first time you go into the server, it'll ask you to download that mod, if I'm not mistaken. So the last time it did. Hopefully this time it'll do it as well, so I can show you guys. And shouldn't take too long to do this. I have my server stats open in my other window here. You guys can't really see it, but well, that's weird. So it didn't ask me. So maybe some of them it'll ask you to download, and some of them it won't. But when it's logging in, it'll say we need to download this, and then it'll download to the server. So that's that. By the way, this is the new ship. I know in my last live stream it wasn't looking too great, but I did a little work on it, and I think it's looking a little bit better. So yeah, I'm still working on it a little bit. As you can see here, I have my hangars on the side here, all ready for some fighters, and I have a ton of framework. So that framework is just itching for some upgrades. So yeah, so I'm pretty happy about that. So I'm pretty happy with the ship design so far, and I think it's looking pretty good. I still want to put a little bit more detail on it and whatnot, but I think we got something pretty cool here. I'm very happy with how this turned out. Like, it really does look like these were installed and then attached to these. Like, these are bracing brackets and stuff like that. I like those. And yeah, so I think it's pretty cool. These look like bracing brackets for the main hull, and I think that's like battle ready. Like, these are going to keep things together. So I think it's pretty cool. And these red lights also add like a dimension that I kind of like as well. So yeah, and I do have a little supplementary, I think this is for dignitaries to fly in and things like that. Well, that's how I picture it anyways. So I have a little hangar here as well. I don't have one on the bottom in that same spot. So this is, I may just put that on the bottom instead of the top, but I'm not really too sure. But yeah, I think it's looking pretty cool. Anyways, what was it doing? Oh yeah, the server. So yeah, so that's how to install mods, basically. It's really kind of simple. You just go ahead and go into that mod file. You put the mod in there. If it's a server side, you put it in the server side. If it's on the client side, you put it on the clients section or whatever. So let's just jump back right into that real quick. I forgot to show you guys the mod is actually installed on the server. So I went back in and I re-edited the mod file on the server. So let me just show you that real quick. And I fired back up the Avorion. So, all right, so let's just show you that real quick. So it'll be in the mods here. So as you can see, the more resource mod here is installed. Okay, as I was saying, yeah. So if it's on the server, it's going to be here. If it's going to be a client one, it's here. Now again, I'm just going to take this out because right now I don't really want mods on the server. So I'm going to have this clean, but for the purpose of this video, I just wanted to show you guys where all that goes and how it works and things like that. Now, I've had, just a word of warning here, I've had very limited success in installing these. So it's kind of like I tried a few of them, and as I was saying before, like the one on the client side was sort of working, sort of not. So that was the map quality of life one. I kind of got it to work and I kind of didn't. So I've had very limited success in doing the mods. But this explanation in this video should get you kind of started and kind of show you where all of it's happening. And then I'm sure there's tons more resources online, and I'd have to look for it as well myself to really get things working. So if you had a particular mod that you wanted to work in it and you didn't really know how and there was some issues, I'm sure there's like resources online to get it working, and maybe there's some workarounds. I'm not really too sure, but there's the basis of mods on a server. Anyways, again, make sure that when you're doing these things, like on the on the configuration files here on both of them. So if you're editing either one of these, you have to stop the server, save them, then start the server. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, so if you guys want me to show you anything else in here, if like anything else looks interesting, but there's not really all that much more. So as far as this is concerned, I really haven't found anything either all that much more deep in this. So, but I just wanted to show you guys what I've learned so far, and that is pretty much it. And I hope everybody is doing fine and staying safe and doing well. And if you guys like this, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to be notified when there's more, especially my live streams and things like that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon. And yeah, so I will see everybody very, very soon. Again, on Monday, there will be the next live stream. So stay tuned for that. All right. Bye for now, guys.